I knew something was wrong before I opened the front door. The house was too quiet. Then I heard my daughter crying. I ran toward the living room and stopped cold. My mother-in-law stood over 6-year-old Lily, gripping a leather belt in one hand. Useless girl. It barely even hurts. And you're making all this drama. Lily was curled against the sofa, covering her head with both arms. For 1 second, I couldn't breathe. Then I crossed the room, grabbed the belt from my mother-in-law, and threw it across the floor. It looks like you're tired of living. She stared at me. You don't speak to me that way. I knelt beside Lily. Her cheeks were wet. Her little shoulders were shaking. Mommy, I'm sorry. You have nothing to apologize for. My mother-in-law scoffed. She disobeyed me. She's 6. She needs discipline. I looked at the belt lying near the wall. No. She needs protection. My husband wasn't home. That suddenly mattered. My mother-in-law folded her arms and told me I was overreacting. Then Lily whispered something that made my blood run cold. Grandma said Daddy would be angry if I told you. I looked at my mother-in-law. Her expression changed. And I realized this wasn't the first time she had threatened my daughter. I carried Lily upstairs while my mother-in-law followed behind me, complaining that I was treating her like a criminal. I locked the bedroom door. Lily sat on the bed, still trembling. Sweetheart, look at me. She slowly raised her eyes. Has Grandma ever hit you before? She nodded. My stomach dropped. How many times? 3. I closed my eyes for 1 second. Why didn't you tell me? Grandma said Daddy would lose his job if I did. That made no sense. But Lily was 6. She believed every frightening thing an adult told her. I asked what had happened that afternoon. She said Grandma wanted her to memorize a list of things she had to say if anyone asked about the bruises. Then Lily whispered, she said I had to make Daddy proud. I opened the door. My mother-in-law was standing in the hallway. What did you tell her? She shrugged. She exaggerates everything. I called my husband. He answered on the second ring. Mom says you're upset. Your mother hit Lily with a belt. Silence. Then he said something I never expected. Are you sure? I stared at the phone. Your 6-year-old daughter is telling me she has been hit 3 times. He exhaled. I'll come home. Before he arrived, my mother-in-law received a phone call. I heard her say, the money is still coming. I waited until my mother-in-law walked downstairs before I followed. She had turned away from me and was speaking quietly on the phone. I promised my sister $200,000, she said. I'm not backing out now. I stopped behind the staircase. $200,000. My mother-in-law didn't have that kind of money. At least, I didn't think she did. Then she noticed me. Her face hardened. You were listening? Yes. She ended the call. My husband arrived 10 minutes later. He rushed upstairs to Lily. When he saw her, his expression collapsed. What happened? Lily looked at him. Daddy, Grandma said you'd be mad. He looked at his mother. Mom. She immediately started crying. I was trying to teach her respect. With a belt. She wouldn't listen. My husband looked sick. I expected him to defend his mother. He didn't. Instead, he asked, what money were you talking about? She became silent. I answered for her. She promised her sister $200,000. My husband stared at his mother. For what? She said nothing. Then her phone rang. The screen showed her sister's name. She declined the call. A second later, another message appeared. I saw only 4 words before she turned the phone over. We need it tonight. My husband looked at me. Something had just become much bigger than family discipline. Word count, 200. My husband asked his mother where the money would come from. She refused to answer. I watched him unlock his banking app. His face changed almost immediately. Mom, where did this transfer come from? She stepped backward. What transfer? He showed her the screen. There had been a withdrawal from an account connected to our household finances. $40,000. Then another. $25,000. Then 15. I felt cold. My husband looked at me. Did you make these? No, his mother whispered. I was going to put it back. You took our money. I needed to help your sister. My husband's voice cracked. How much? She wouldn't answer. He scrolled. The total reached $80,000. I suddenly understood why she had been desperate. The $200,000 she promised her sister wasn't coming from savings. She intended to take it from us. My mother-in-law looked at me. You don't understand what my sister is facing. I understand perfectly. No, you don't. She stepped closer. She needs that money, or her family loses everything. I looked at Lily standing halfway down the stairs. She had heard everything. My husband immediately moved toward her. But my mother-in-law said something that stopped him. If you expose me, your sister goes to jail. The room went silent. My husband turned pale. His mother had finally revealed the real reason she was desperate. My husband asked his mother what his sister had done. She sat down. For the first time, she looked old. His sister had been involved in a business scheme that collapsed after investors lost money. According to my mother-in-law, creditors were threatening legal action. She believed $200,000 would make everything disappear. My husband stared at her. So you stole from us. I borrowed it. You hit my daughter because she saw you. My mother-in-law looked toward Lily. She found the bank papers. My heart stopped. What papers? She admitted Lily had walked into the office 2 weeks earlier and found the statements. My daughter had asked what the numbers meant. My mother-in-law panicked. That was when the threats started. She had frightened Lily into silence. The belt was her final attempt to make sure Lily never spoke. My husband sat down heavily. I called our attorney. While we waited, my mother-in-law kept saying she had only been protecting her daughter. But protection didn't explain everything. Our attorney reviewed the statements and asked one question. Has anyone else accessed your financial accounts? My husband checked. His face went white. There's another account. I looked at him. What account? He stared at the screen. It's under my name. Then he opened it. And we discovered the money had already been transferred somewhere else. The account had been opened 8 months earlier. I had never seen it. Neither had my husband. Our attorney told us to stop touching the accounts and preserve every record. Then she noticed something. The account had been created using information from an old loan application. My mother-in-law had somehow obtained copies of our documents. The transfers were routed through that account before reaching her sister. My husband looked devastated. She planned this for months. Our attorney nodded. She also created a paper trail suggesting your husband authorized the transfers. I looked at my mother-in-law. You were setting him up. She started crying. I was trying to save my daughter. And you were willing to destroy your son. She had no answer. Then Lily came downstairs holding a small notebook. Mummy, I wrote something. I took it from her. Inside were dates. Beside each date, Lily had written what Grandma told her. Don't tell Mummy. Don't make Daddy angry. Don't ruin everything. My hands shook. This little notebook was the clearest record we had of what happened. Our attorney photographed every page. Then she looked at my husband. You need to decide whether you're protecting your mother or protecting your daughter. He looked at Lily. Something in his face changed. He picked up his phone and called the police. The officers arrived quietly. There was no shouting. No dramatic confrontation. They asked questions. My husband answered them. My mother-in-law eventually admitted taking the money and striking Lily. She kept repeating that she never intended to seriously hurt her. I looked at my daughter. Intent didn't erase fear. It didn't erase the nights she had hidden beneath her blanket. It didn't erase the notebook. My mother-in-law was taken away for processing. My husband stood beside me afterward. I should have seen it. You weren't the one who did it. But I ignored the warning signs. I didn't answer. He understood. The next morning, our attorney helped freeze every account connected to the unauthorized transfers. Most of the money was recovered. The remaining amount was traced to his sister. She returned it through her attorney after learning the records had been turned over. Then came the part one hadn't expected. My husband asked me to let Lily choose whether she wanted him around. I watched him kneel several feet away from her. I'm sorry I didn't believe you immediately. Lily stared at him. You believe me now? Yes. She nodded. Then she reached for his hand. I cried quietly in the kitchen. Not because everything was fixed. It wasn't. But because my daughter had finally learned that telling the truth would not cost her the people she loved. My mother-in-law eventually faced the consequences of what she had done. My husband filed the necessary financial reports and cooperated fully with the investigation. His sister had to answer for her own actions. None of it felt like revenge. It felt like accountability. Lily went back to school. For weeks, she asked whether Grandma was coming home. I told her the truth without frightening her.
Adults are responsible for their choices.
One evening, Lily asked me something I will never forget.
Mummy, am I useless?
I sat beside her on the bed. No. Grandma said I was.
Grandma was wrong.
I pulled her close.
You are brave.
You told the truth when an adult told you to stay quiet.
That is never useless.
She rested her head against my shoulder.
Months passed. The belt disappeared from our house.
So did the fear.
My husband rebuilt trust slowly, understanding that apologies meant nothing without changed behavior. We never invited my mother-in-law back into Lily's life.
Some doors are closed because people deserve punishment.
Others are closed because children deserve peace. That night, Lily drew a picture of our family.
3 people stood beneath a bright blue sky. She handed it to me.
At the bottom, she had written one sentence in crooked letters. Mummy kept me safe.
I put the picture beside my bed.
And for the first time since that afternoon, I slept without listening for footsteps.